Welcome to Lyric Lore Lab, where we craft stories from melodies and paint worlds from words. We hope you enjoy today's stories. In a small, quaint town where time seemed to slow down, there lived two siblings, Charles and Alex. They were known for their wild imaginations, transforming their backyard into a universe of endless possibilities. The heart of their adventures was an old treehouse, perched high in the branches of an ancient oak tree. This treehouse, crafted by their own hands, was more than just wood and nails. It was a vessel for their dreams, a spaceship that took them to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. As children, Charles and Alex spent countless hours in that treehouse, the outside world a distant memory. Their mother's lullabies at night were the soundtrack of their cosmic travels. The siblings gave each other fantastical names, Captain Starlight and Lunar Ranger, as they embarked on interstellar missions, exploring new planets and escaping from alien threats. In this world, anything was possible, and the constraints of reality were but a faint whisper. However, as time passed, the innocence of childhood began to fade. The town, once a canvas for their imagination, gradually transformed into a cage of responsibilities and expectations. Charles, now nicknamed Blurryface, due to the uncertainty of his identity, struggled with the pressure to conform and succeed. Alex, equally lost in the transition to adulthood, yearned for the simplicity of their past adventures. The treehouse, once a beacon of hope and adventure, stood neglected, a relic of a time when dreams were tangible. Yet, amidst the chaos of their lives, a familiar smell, a blend of oak wood, autumn leaves, and a hint of their mother's perfume would occasionally drift through the air, transporting them back to those carefree days. Charles often thought of capturing this scent, of bottling this fleeting connection to the past, but he knew it was a futile attempt to hold on to something that was slipping away. Their paths diverged as they grew older. Charles pursued a career in music, attempting to rediscover the creativity he once took for granted. Alex, on the other hand, found himself trapped in the mundane routine of a 9-to-5 job, the echoes of their mother's lullabies replaced by the relentless ticking of the clock. One fateful night, under the light of a full moon, Charles stood outside the treehouse, a guitar in hand. Strumming chords that felt all too familiar yet foreign, he sang of lost dreams, of the burden of growing up, and of the unspoken wish to turn back time. His voice, tinged with melancholy, carried through the night, reaching Alex, who stood at a distance, a silent spectator to his brother's pain. Moved by the raw emotion in Charles's song, Alex approached the treehouse. For the first time in years, they climbed up to their childhood sanctuary. Surrounded by the remnants of their past, they talked, laughed, and sang until the early hours of the morning. It was a moment of clarity, a realization that while they couldn't turn back time, they could still find solace in the memories and in each other. Their reunion in the treehouse sparked a change. Charles's music began to reflect a newfound hope, a blend of nostalgia and acceptance. Alex, inspired by their night of reminiscence, started to seek joy in the little things, finding ways to reignite his imagination within the confines of his daily life. And so, in a small town where time once stood still, two siblings found their way back to each other, understanding that the magic of their childhood didn't fade. It simply evolved, guiding them through the journey of life. In the heart of a bustling city where the hum of traffic and the rhythm of life never ceased, there lived a young man named Rick. Rick, like many, found solace in the small things. The gentle strum of his car radio as he navigated the concrete jungle, the melodies that danced through the air, filling the voids of his day-to-day struggles. But one day, this source of comfort was abruptly taken from him when someone stole his car radio. The theft of his radio plunged Rick into a world of silence, a stark contrast to the ever-present noise of the city. This silence, however, was not peaceful. It was suffocating, a void that amplified the chaos of his thoughts. Rick's mind became a battleground, a place where his deepest fears and insecurities waged war against his hopes and dreams. As Rick drove through the city, the absence of music forced him to confront these thoughts. His mind wandered to the darker corners of his psyche, where he relived the nightmares that haunted him, dreams where he was a different version of himself, capable of things he could never fathom in reality. The silence in his car became a mirror, reflecting the parts of himself he had long tried to ignore. Amidst this turmoil, Rick began to ponder the essence of human existence. He realized that the constant noise of life served as a distraction from the fundamental truths that everyone must face. In the stillness of his car, he grappled with the idea that life is an unending struggle against fear, a battle to find meaning in an often incomprehensible world. But in this silence, Rick also found clarity. He understood that to live fully, one must confront these fears head-on. It was a choice between faith and resignation, between being awake to the complexities of life or asleep in blissful ignorance. Charles chose to be awake, to embrace the chaos of his thoughts, to face the fears that silence had unearthed. This realization marked the beginning of Rick's transformation. He no longer viewed the stolen radio as a loss, but as an unexpected gift. The silence that once tormented him now became a canvas for introspection and growth. He began to express his tumultuous thoughts through poetry and music, finding solace in the very act of creation. Rick's journey through the city took on new meaning. Each street became a metaphor for the pathways of his mind, each turn a decision between fear and peace. His car, once a mere vehicle, became a sanctuary of self-discovery, a place where he could confront his inner demons and emerge stronger. In the end, Rick found that the greatest battles are often fought within the silence of one's own mind. And in this battle, he discovered the power of his own voice, a voice that sang not of despair, but of hope and resilience. The theft of his car radio, which had once seemed like a curse, had unwittingly steered him towards a path of self-awareness and empowerment. And so, in a city where noise was the norm, Rick found harmony in silence, learning that sometimes the most profound revelations come not from the chaos of the world, but from the quiet introspections of the soul.